Hey everyone, thank you for joining me here again on Returning to Self with myself, Tanya Ray Bethune. I come to you today with episode 12 of Returning to Self. Today we're going to talk about silencing the false voices. Silencing the false voices. One of the things I have learned on the journey of returning to yourself is that many of the things we believe about ourselves didn't actually come from God. Some of those beliefs were formed through rejection, some came from painful experiences, and some came from words that people spoke over us that we carried for longer than we should have. But over time, those voices become internal, and before we knew it, we are living according to voices that God never intended to define us. So, and when those voices stay unchecked, they begin to shape how we see ourselves. They make us doubt our worth. They make us question our value, and they make us shrink in places where God called us to stand, right? So, but returning to yourself requires something very important. It requires you to become honest about the voices you have allowed to shape your identity, because if the voices is not aligned with the truth of God, then it does not belong in the places where your identity is being formed. So the process of returning to yourself is learning to silence those false voices and replace them with truth. The truth of who God says you are, the truth of the value He placed within you, the truth that your identity was never meant to be defined by what you experienced or what someone else said about you. As it says in John chapter 8, verses 32, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Freedom begins when truth becomes louder than the voices that once shaped how you saw yourself. And sometimes returning to yourself simply means letting the voice of God be the loudest voice in your life again. Sometimes the most important part of healing is not just what God is restoring in you, but the voices He is teaching you to no longer listen to. So be blessed and always stay encouraged.